Brother lads, welcome back to Cossy Podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. Arsenal close to agreeing personal terms with Romeo Lavia and with Declan Rice seemingly now being in kind of jeopardy. Could Romeo Lavia start for Arsenal every single week? Do you think Romeo Lavia has it in him to start for Arsenal every single week, replacing Thomas Partey as well in that midfield? Let me know in the comment box below. We're also going to be talking. Rob Holding is in talks to sign for Besiktas on loan. I just cannot believe it. A player has 1 year left on his deal with an extra option, of course, with Arsenal to extend the deal. And Arsenal are looking to loan him out rather than sell him. And I've just done a video on how Arsenal are very poor at selling. Rob Holding going out on loan doesn't make any sense. But we'll be diving into that. Arsenal have also offered youngster Ethan Nwaneri a huge contract for him to stay at Arsenal, and he's set to accept as well. So hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let's have our thoughts in the comment box below. Two topics for us to talk about. Is Romeo Lavia the perfect replacement of Thomas Partey if Declan Rice does not sign? And of course, how much is Rob Holding in this current market? Now, I know he's not the flashiest of centre-backs. He's not the Saliba. He's not your, Lisandro Martinez or Rafa Varane. But how much is Rob Holding right now on the current market? How much would you value him, at in the current market, right? Let's dive into it. Now, first and foremost, according to Belgian journalist Sacha Tavleri, Arsenal are very close to agreeing personal terms with Romeo Lavia. He's one of those journalists that have been really following this story after Fabrizio Romano telling us that Arsenal have worked on this deal for 15 concrete days. Sacha Tavleri says that now Arsenal are on the verge of agreeing personal terms with the player. The player's already given the green light for us to bid to Southampton. No problem with him joining us. Keen on the move, and now personal terms are also on the verge of being agreed. Now, this is a deal I don't have a problem with. I would really love to see Romeo Lavia at Arsenal in the same window that we signed Declan Rice, or in the same window that we signed Moises Caicedo. I think signing Caicedo and Lavia would be such a very good move, a statement move for Arsenal in the summer. It means, one, we have learned from our past mistakes, where you had Thomas Partey, fall out with an injury, or probably suspension. Look, he doesn't really get suspended that much, but when Partey has been unavailable or unfit to play for Arsenal, we have suffered. So if you sign Moises Caicedo to replace Thomas Partey, or Declan Rice to replace Thomas Partey, and you sign Romeo Lavia to be that kind of backup player, especially now that Albert Sambi Lokonga is gonna go, because again, such a Tavleri says that at the moment, Albert Sambi Lokonga will not be an Arsenal player next season. He will be leaving the club as well. So we are linked with we are talking about two Belgians. One goes out, one goes in, one comes in. Is Romeo Lavia massively better than Albert Sambi Lokonga? In my opinion, yes. I've looked at Romeo Lavia, and there is a reason as to why there's so many big clubs really interested in Romeo Lavia. There is something about him. There is that drive that drives clubs to him. And there is also a reason why not all these clubs that are trying to sign a DM, there is no reason why they have not made him a priority. Most of the clubs, Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, most of the clubs feel he's not there yet. He's not the player that comes in and hits the ground running. I think he's a good talent. I think Arsenal would actually benefit from signing him. Whether that means that we sign him for around 40 million and sell him for 60 in the future, whether that means that he becomes a regular part of this Arsenal side that will go on to win silverware and trophies, I think either way, Arsenal would definitely benefit from the services of Romeo Lavia. But is he the player to start week in, week out? Absolutely not. If you take out Lokonga and Partey, you must bring in a player in the caliber of Thomas Partey and want to replace Albert Sambi Lokonga as well. So for me, in my opinion, Lavia would be a very good replacement for Albert Sambi Lokonga, but not a player that starts for Arsenal every single week, especially in a campaign where we say Arsenal could win, or will try to win the UEFA Champions League and the Premier League. Okay, that would be our first campaign to go as ambitious as we are gonna go. The Cronkies want the UCL, and Mikel Arteta wants to win the Premier League. He wants to go again. He wants to recharge. I don't think you recharge by letting Partey and Xhaka go and bringing in Romeo Lavia. That is not what I think. But anyway, Lavia is a player we should be keeping our eyes on. Looks like personal terms are on the verge of being agreed. That is also very, very close. Now, Arsenal could lose Rob Holding this summer, like expected. Arsenal could also get nothing from Rob Holding leaving Arsenal, apart from freeing up some space on the wage bill, unexpected. Now, according to a story I've been looking at, I will share with you right here. It's one that is absolutely bizarre, and it doesn't make any sense, right? So, exclusive from the Express, they're saying Arsenal defender Rob Holding is in talks with Besiktas over a possible loan deal. The player is now weighing up his options after Besiktas made their interest clear to his representatives. The Express understand, and they have written an exclusive story around him as well. Now, there are one or two things that we have got to agree upon. Arsenal need to get rid of up to 10 players. Rob Holding should be one of them, definitely. I think we could let go of Nuno Tavares, Cedric Soares, the goalkeeper Alexander Runarsson. Those are 4 players in midfield. Xhaka will go. Lokonga should go. In my opinion, to be honest, El Neni, if he gets much better or he gets a club that will take on his wages, should be leaving as well. Edin Ketia should be leaving as well. And a couple of other players like Nicola Pepe. So we expect players to leave this summer. But I want us to do what Chelsea are doing. Letting Rob Holding go on loan. 1 year left on his deal. He can extend, of course. So we can say he has 2 years left on his deal. That is the perfect timing to sell a player like Rob Holding. We should trigger that extra year. We should extend that his contract with that extra year to make sure that he has 2 years left on his deal, and then Arsenal should sell him. He's 27. He's one of the longest serving members of this Arsenal Football Club. I think one of the few players that signed under Arsene Wenger that are still around. I think El Neni, Xhaka, Rob Holding. I think those are the 3 players that Arsene Wenger signed and are still at this football club, to be honest. Rob Holding needs to go. I've already said this for the last 3 years. He needs to find a club where he's going to, drive his career forward. At 27, I don't think he's going to be, as a centre-back, he's arriving into his prime. Like he's hitting his prime. And you can't hit your prime. You can't arrive in your prime while you're sitting on the bench at Arsenal. To be honest, if you can't bench Benjamin White, if you can't get good game time when Arsenal have Ben White and William Saliba only, and maybe Tomiyasu, are you going to get game time when you have Tomiyasu and he's back, Saliba is back, Ben White and Jalen Timber? So Rob Holding looking for options is a very, very nice move. But a loan deal, in what, where on earth have you ever heard that a club apart from Arsenal do not want a player, they don't have him in their plans, but they will loan him out, and his contract runs down? Like, it absolutely doesn't make any sense. It's the same mistake we did with Nicola Pepe last season. Pepe was off the plans of Mikel Arteta. Edu knew that, and everyone knew that, right? Much of our work was to get Nicola Pepe a club that could buy him. Whether it meant negotiating with him to reduce his wages, whether it meant that we take a massive loss, we should have sold him last summer. You know why? Because if you're selling a player whose contract has 2 more years to go, that player is more valuable than a player who has 1 year left on his contract. Like, it just makes sense in football, in the football transfer market. Rob Holding's contract has 2 more years, right? 1 year plus an extra year. Arsenal trigger that, those are 2 years. There's so many clubs right now that I do not know of, to be honest. He's more like a Harry Maguire. There are no options. There are no bids. There are no offers from the Premier League. There are no offers from anywhere. If Besiktas have come in and they want to take Rob Holding on a loan deal, they definitely have to have a permanent and mandatory buy clause, right? So they take him on loan. At the end of the season, they pay 35 million for Rob Holding, or maybe 25 million for Rob Holding. Otherwise, let him stay there. Just don't bring your filthy fingers on him, because Arsenal cannot keep on losing revenue and losing players that we could milk some revenue out of by sending them out on loan until their contracts run down, and then they live on a free. We should stop that. Look at Chelsea. Chelsea have done it very, very well. Kalidou Koulibaly, unwanted, sold. N'Golo Conte, wanted, lives on a free. That is kind of a loss for them because Conte is such a good player. But look at Hakim Ziyech, sold, right? Look at Ruben Loftus-Cheek, sold. Ruben Loftus-Cheek has been sold to Milan for around 16 million euros, rising to 20 million euros. Okay, look at Eduardo Mendy, sold. Chelsea are raising over 200 million in player sales. Kai Havertz, 2 years left on his deal, doesn't want to renew, sold. Mason Mount, 1 year left on his deal, doesn't want to renew, up for sale. Not to be loaned out, and then he comes back and he's got nothing. And Chelsea have got nothing. So we need to copy the strategy of Chelsea Football Club. And we all ask the question, how are Chelsea able to spend huge amounts of money across summers? Maybe this is one of the things they do. You cannot tell me that Rob Holding would be at Chelsea and they would let him go on loan. It doesn't make any financial sense. It's a player that we brought in under Arsene Wenger for around 4 million. He's been at the club for quite some time. I think if Arsenal got around 24 million, it would be a huge profit. Like, he's one of those players that have not been a huge success at Arsenal, but you can easily profit from him. You can easily make huge money, up to 20 million on the sale of Rob Holding. Right? Now, I don't know who's going to buy him. That's the truth. I can suggest options where he can go, but I don't know if any clubs are really interested. But he's a player. The moment Julian Timber signs, he's a player that will attract a lot of interest. So for me, a loan deal is unacceptable. You can't let a player who's 27 go out on loan, just like we did Nicola Pepe, and he comes back, 1 year left on his contract, value has dropped. Like, we can't do that. We really can't. This is the time you get some good money out of him and say, hey, goodbye. We wish you the best on your next journeys. It's the end for you, between you and Arsenal. Now, Arsenal are looking to have offered Ethan Nwaneri a very, very big contract. Not big contract like professional contract, but they've given him a lucrative offer to stay. At Arsenal, there was talk about a scholarship. Arsenal had not offered him a scholarship yet. Manchester City and Chelsea had offered him offers on the table. Arsenal have also now offered him an offer on the table as well. I think with Ethan Nwaneri, he's a player that will stay at Arsenal. He's a player that we need to keep at Arsenal. Look, we might lose Charlie Patino. If we lose Charlie Patino this summer, last summer we lost Omar Hutchinson, there is a problem there. There is a problem. Because why can't we keep our best talents? Why is it that we can't keep our best talents? Yes, Patino will want that kind of game time. He's kind of proud, of course. The talent is through the roof, up in the air. Omar Hutchinson, the same, looked at Bukayo Saka probably and Martinelli and said, I'm not going to play football here. I want to join Chelsea, which was a huge mistake in my opinion. But we can't let our young talents keep living like that. In my opinion, Patino is a player that should come in maybe for a couple of Carabao Cup games. I think Patino in the next 2 years could be worth around, maybe not 30, but maybe around 20 million euros. And Arsenal will make a massive profit on that, right? I'm not sure if we are all clear with FFP rules, especially with our very, very poor, selling habits, right? So if you cannot sell players that you acquired for a fee, then what we should do is make sure that the academy graduates, the likes of Hutchinson, the likes of Patino, stay until an older age, and then we can profit from them. I think our academy is doing very well. You look at, Saka, Emil Smith Rowe, all these players. If we're to sell Saka right now, in excess of 90 million. If we're to sell Emil Smith Rowe now, in excess of 40 million. I think we've done well in terms of bringing players right from the academy. You look at Eddie as well. If we're to sell Eddie now, in excess of 30 million. So for me, Ethan Nwaneri is a player that has got to stay at Arsenal. And Arsenal do have every mineral to power into the negotiations and keep him at the club. He's played Premier League football for Arsenal. He looks at Saka. He looks up at the likes of Emil Smith Rowe. We can definitely tie him down to a long-term contract. We should keep our youngsters at the side. I don't want to hear Chelsea poaching from Arsenal. They can poach from Aston Villa. They can poach from Southampton, but Chelsea poaching from Arsenal, that is disrespectful. Manchester City poaching from Arsenal, that is disrespectful. Absolutely disrespectful. So Ethan Nwaneri should not be left to go alone, on a free. If Arsenal can convince him, that is exactly what we should be doing. I'll see you right in the next one. Keep on hitting the like button and that subscribe button as well.